speaking of things done right or wrong, we're gonna move on to the weekly wows and woes. And what I mean by this is the weekly programming. There's been a lot of changes in production, in booking, in every aspect. So pretty much, I want to just touch down on all those little things in one quick segment. I want you guys to tell me things you've noticed that you like and things you've noticed that you don't like based on the weekly programming. Let's go with JTA first on this. What?
So, can you ask that one more time? So, what I'm liking about the
Yeah, so weekly
weekly
programming,
programming?
SmackDown and Raw. What of all the little changes in booking and production and whatnot have you enjoyed, and what do you think should not have changed or continue to change?
Um, I'm trying to think of specifics here. Can't
Because
think at the top of my head.
personally, I like the fact that we're getting better video packages and entrances. I've seen changes to like Solo's colors or like the Motor City Machine Guns and AJ Styles. You see TNA footage. We're
Oh,
getting better. They're getting rid of Def Rebel, um, things like that. I like those video packages. I like the new SmackDown logos. Uh, I
right.
actually
Yeah,
like
it
that a
does
lot.
kind of go hard.
It does go hard, right? And then I like how the what was I gonna say? Oh,
What about?
the cameras, the camera angles in the backstage segments have been, in my opinion, much better. I like how they're fluid. Versus back a couple years ago, we had almost all backstage segments were like the TV and the guy type segment.
Yeah, that was
Like
kind of
very very
repetitive.
stationary. Whereas this, they do a lot of movement, fluid movement, where
Yeah,
they did that in the Attitude Era a lot.
and I personally, I like the, like you said, the video packs. I like how they're doing like more cinematic, like video production. I don't know if you saw the Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, like of them talking. That was kind of like a movie how they did it with like
Oh yeah.
the music playing in the background.
Yeah,
Like it was like a work of art. That was
yeah, that was
honestly one of the best put together video packages I've ever seen.
yeah, that was super cool. And on that same note, even just the promo videos leading into Bad Blood, where Triple H is telling Cody to get Metro for the stakeout, and he's like
Yeah.
Metro Boomin, and he's like,
Oh
"What
yeah,
other Metro do you know?" And he's like, "Oh," because he starts echoing in the
Yeah.
garage and things like that. Iceberg, what you think? You got anything as far
Yeah.
as little matchmaking qualities or production qualities?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, besides cosmetically, like how you guys all pointed out, I mean, the camera work has been really nice.
it's
I feel like,
always been good though. The camera work.
yeah,
No,
I mean, yeah,
I think I know what you're saying, because a lot of the angles of like hiding moves and botches and cuts,
Oh yeah, yeah.
is that what you're getting
yeah,
at, Kelly?
yeah. Yeah. Just don't get me wrong. WF has always done. They've been the best in the biz, catching all the right stuff and avoiding all the wrong stuff. But I was just
It's
alluding to your.
gotten
Yeah, listen, I feel like it's bigger. That's what I like about it. I feel like the storylines, they're making Monday nights, they're making SmackDowns just mean so much more. And kudos to them because it's a 52-week show, right? I mean, for both,
Right.
for both. I mean, that's freaking crazy to sit there and come up with, to make it so meaningful and not just have a filler. And I
Right.
feel like there's less fillers in the show personally. Um, also, they've been having big fights.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think last Monday night after the one Bad Blood, they had they had like two or three championship, the belts were on the line. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, so those are things I'm loving. It feels bigger to me, and it
Yeah,
reminds me of the Attitude Era where it was actually cool to like wrestling, and not so it being a cult
Not so
thing.
closeted,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like someone's like, oh, you like that fake stuff or like something like that. Like,
And
yeah,
based off what you were saying, Kelly, it reminded me. Perfect example is that whole Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed thing. That was
yeah,
almost all segments and brawls,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and just perfect camera work and following them and through the wall and shit and I think that has been a really fresh, refreshing, just like yeah, like I feel like I'll go into a weekly show like you said earlier. Usually there's no expectation of a weekly show, but I feel like lately we've been able to go into them like you said with the title matches or these angles where they just um they just bring like a oh shit, I
yeah,
did not expect that,
and
that
yeah,
was nice.
and don't be surprised when they go on Netflix that you're gonna see more of a actual TV show, where there's going to be a lot more things filmed, and
Hmm.
you're going to have segments like the Roman Reigns and Cody, but you're gonna, they're gonna try to, explore that more. It's going to be more movie esque. Wrestling is going to change when it gets to Netflix in a lot of ways
yeah,
that people are not ready. Some people might not even like it. You know what I mean? But I think most will, and I think we're in that era where WWE is going to start making more groundbreaking history here and kind of pivot, and we're going to really see what the Triple H era really is. Right now, we're
Right.
living Vince McMahon's dream. Okay,
Well,
even though
and
even though Triple H is doing his thing, and Vince has nothing to do with it. This right here, what we're watching, is exactly what or what Vince McMahon wanted his wrestling to be. So right now, Triple H is kind of still stuck in that realm. I think when they go to Netflix, it's going to look different. It's going
well,
to look different.
you've seen a lot of they've been testing the waters and they've been doing these changes and they've been doing so we got more title matches, we got new angles, but he's like you said, he's bringing it back to the best of, but those are still things that Vince used to do now,
Right,
but he's a
right,
student of the game and those are
right,
good aspects of what Vince did, but like you
right.
said, there's some things that Triple H is going to put his stamp on as far as the new generation that he's promised, and we've seen that with like the cinematic thing with Roman and Cody and stuff. We've seen, and you've noticed he's quite literally putting his stamp on it. These episodes, they at the end say executive produced Lee, Paul Levesque and Lee Fitting. So they're putting their stamp. This ain't Vince's shit no more. This is
Yeah,
my
no
shit.
doubt. No
You
doubt,
know,
no doubt. And so
yeah.
like, oh no, go ahead, Jeff.
and
Go ahead.
most importantly, because
Uh,
they I'm sorry, but most importantly, because I got
no,
the
you're good.
same thought, is I feel like them doing that is not just so much as saying this is my shit, but I feel like they're confident that these episodes are going to be more of the viewed episodes in future's time. They're going to be pulled back on. And when they have people coming back 6 years later and watching the show, they want people to know this wasn't the Vince era. You're watching the Triple H era. This is
Yeah,
when this is the Triple H era that you're watching now. You might not know because you're watching past episodes, but I want you to understand that this is different and this era started here. Oh, you like that better than that? That's why. You know. Go ahead.
Yeah, me personally though, like like the cinema esque like production, I think it's great because like I think it's definitely gonna be able to, people are gonna see that and be like, that's badass, and it's gonna, draw more people to being like fans of pro wrestling, and it's not gonna be like, just like two people fighting. It's gonna be like that story, that cinema, that's gonna draw more people to it, and that's only gonna help WWE even more to reach like a wider audience, especially it being on a platform like Netflix, which everyone and their mama has a Netflix or they have someone else's Netflix account, and they're gonna see that. You know what? I'll check out WWE. Haven't watched it in years, but we'll see. What changes, or like I've never watched wrestling before. Let's give it a try. And they see like like stuff like the Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes like type of segment, and they'll be like, that is dope as fuck, and that'll get more people's attention, and it'll get like a even bigger audience than what WWE is.
Yeah, and I think that that's the biggest thing about putting it on Netflix and being able to do this new cinema is you're pulling from Netflix's subscriber fan base, right? So a lot of these people have never watched wrestling, but all they do is watch Netflix. So if they see it on their page and they see these cinematic, trailers and these segments and these hype packages that they're building, and people are gonna be like, "Damn, that look cool as fuck, dog." And they might jump up in there and watch that shit, and they might get hooked. You know?
Yeah, they probably thought before like, wrestling is so lame, but then they see, cool shit like that. That's gonna be like, you know what? Maybe I was wrong about this. Like maybe it is cool. Like it's important to like, make sure it's already, becoming more popular now than it, was like 5 years ago. Uh, with like a lot of the storylines and stuff, it's only gonna, in my opinion, improve from there and draw more people in.
Especially the women. The women's, man, you start throwing some of that drama in there, like Liv and Dom on a hype package, and they're like, "Ooh, what's this gossip shit?" Like
I mean, shit on Netflix. I mean, we
yeah,
we did a podcast earlier where we talked about it. Does there need to
Euphoria.
be, does there need to be sex in cinema? And I just feel like it's Netflix, man. You never know what you're going to see here. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
you know.
You could go topless, man. I mean, it's going to be a different. It's going to be a different audience, is all I'm saying. And,
It's
and
true. I don't know if the
I don't think they're gonna do that
no,
because
no,
there's
listen though. But
too
listen,
many
what do you think
kids.
wrestlers are though? Wrestlers are actors. They're not fighters,
That's
right?
true.
right.
This is what we know. They're not fighters. They're actors. So
They're
if somebody's
choreographed actors, is what they
they're
are. Like
stuntmen. They're stuntmen.
stuntmen
That
who
can
act
act.
more than they well,
Right.
about the same. They perform and then they act at the same time, like with the
So
promos and the in ring work.
So they're actors.
so yeah. So yeah, if so facto they're actors. So so look at though. My point is and hey, look at it's not some of these people will want to pursue an acting career. It's not like we haven't seen this before, right? I mean, Jesus Christ, like you're gonna have uh The Rock, you got Batista, you got John Cena,
you
right?
know, it
So
is quite possible. Now that I'm thinking about what you're saying, it is quite possible that we do see a more entrenched backstage IRL esque drama, take where they move beyond the curtain. And even if it's staged and fake and part of the
yes,
script, we
More,
might see more in restaurant or at home segment
the
that
storylines,
stems into the ring eventually, but still
yes,
they
more
might not just be at,
pre-recorded
yeah,
events too,
yes.
less at
instead of
venue
just
type of
like the typical backstage interview.
There you
right.
go.
That's cool,
We've
but
seen
like
it.
it's kind of overdone.
Yeah, exactly. And this creates originality, right? And then we've seen some of that with both the LA Knight in Logan Paul's house and at AJ Styles' house, right?
Yes, yes.
So
And the Stone Cold Brian Pillman back in the day with the
yeah,
gun
Yeah,
in
Pillman's
and
got a
out.
gun. Pillman's got a
yeah,
gun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Booker
I could
T
definitely see stuff
in
like
the
that
yeah.
going down that road. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, and I don't
you
know.
know,
I don't think they'll necessarily go topless, but we could definitely end up with more intimacy
right,
for sure.
right.
For sure, there could be more acting
M-
credibility in
More
in, in,
acting,
in some of this.
Hey,
Something
living
like
Dom.
the Edge and Lita sex
You know what I'm
celebration.
saying? I was
Hey, yeah,
thinking of that.
even just living Dom jumping out of bed, like the camera, like they're waking up together, like more cinematic, like
Yeah,
more
yeah,
something of them,
Yeah, like something you'd
more,
see in like a movie, like
more
yeah,
character building, right? More character
yeah,
building, get you to
yeah.
invest in that character more, right? I
Yeah.
mean, dude, I mean, trust me, they're gonna go crazy. I have a feeling that they're gonna go crazy with it. It's gonna be really cool, man. I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be great.
I think so too. Because yeah, they'll be on less time constraint, live TV type thing. They'll be able to really put more into that
my thing
show.
is, are they going
I,
to keep the 3 hour runtime, or are they going to cut it down, or what are they going to do with that?
well,
That and
in my opinion, if they're gonna do all that, you gotta have a longer runtime because that takes a lot away from the wrestling. So you still got to be able to have at least an hour of wrestling in there.
Not well, yeah, not necessarily. I think they keep the same. I think they keep the same. Because here's the thing, too, right? WWE makes all their money, or not all their money, right? Obviously, but
a
man,
lot.
half their money comes from live events, selling out arenas, right? So you're gonna still have these matches, but instead of the audience seeing all that backstage stuff, maybe they'll watch it on the big screen
Right,
of
which is how they typically do watch it. They'll play it on the screen and you'll get that
yeah.
crowd reaction. So
So you're
you're
gonna
right. Maybe
yeah
maybe they won't try and do too much because you don't want to affect that crowd.
yeah.
Uh, you know,
Yeah, and the crowd will understand,
they're still in
fucking
the
it's
stadium for
Netflix.
a certain amount of hours. You're
Yeah,
still trying to pace these segments on the jumbotron the same way you're trying to pace the viewer to get them to react and change their levels of emotion throughout the show. So it'd be interesting to see how they make it work for
yeah,
sure.
it is. It is going to be interesting. Yeah.
Now,